Well, now we know why Kendall was swimming in all them coochies.
Coming into this, I decided to take full advantage of what this island experience had to offer and just really dive into the single ladies here.
This man was trying to be Trey Songz. The mess.
Ooh, I'm about to dive in.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste of Reality. We are reviewing, I almost said Married at First Sight. What show is this? Temptation Island, season 3, episode 10, I think it is. Oh man, I feel like they were personally dragging out that first bit of the episode. I feel like all of that wasn't necessary. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with a friend, and hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever I post a video. And let's start the review. Now, with Chelsea and Tom and Julian and Kristen, there wasn't much to say. I feel like with Chelsea and Tom, the goodbyes were stuff that we've already heard before. No new information there. With Julian and Kristen, Julian said that, you know, every time he looks at this ring, he will think of Tula. And I, too, will always think of Tula because Tula was the freaking MVP of the season. This girl was not afraid to call people out on their ish. She was like, listen, I'm not connected with people, so I'm not going to force it just to be, you know, just to get some screen time. That's not happening. But what I will do is check you on your BS. And I love that. I love that for her. You know, she's on the gram looking cute and whatever. So I will be thinking about Tula too. Okay, so moving on to Erin and Corey. Erin is now saying she's upset that she didn't enjoy her time to the fullest due to guilt.
This whole experience, I've been taking the blame because I care so much about him, but I forgot that there were things that he needed to work on. I've been carrying our relationship for 1.5 years now.
I mean, of course he had things to work on. There's no single person on this planet who's absolutely perfect. But now to flip the script and make it seem like, well, I've been carrying the weight of this relationship all this time. Girl, in my personal opinion, I felt like she was just preparing herself for heartbreak. She was like, you know, if anything happens, then I could be like, you know, I didn't allow myself to really give the process a proper try because, you know, I lost sight of the wrongdoings of him too. And then, like, if things didn't work out, she could then revisit old flames from the show. Like, I don't know what she was trying to do. This definitely felt like a defense mechanism, but I find it really hard, sis, for you to believe you didn't get to experience the full experience because you were like on a guilt trip. Like, that didn't sit well with me. Now, at the final recoupling ceremony thing, she shares with him that she has been dealing with a lot of trauma that has seeped into her current relationship.
Like, I have so much pain in me, I have so much hurt in me, and I'm taking it out on you. I haven't been vulnerable with you because there's so many things that you don't know about me. So instead, I just was letting the hurt from past relationships affect our current relationship.
She says that there was an element of physical abuse on both ends, hers and her ex-partners, and that the loss of her friend played a bigger part in her trauma than she realized. And we've seen this through the show, not the physical abuse part. That was news to me. I don't remember that. But my thing is, okay, so you've acknowledged that you've carried in a lot of trauma, right? How then are you going to find a way to blame? I don't even know if I should say blame, because is it really blame? But she's trying to shift responsibility of the demise of the relationship over to Corey. And I'm like, okay, like, let's just focus on you, the person. You've acknowledged that you've done a lot of wrong in this relationship. And you've also said that a lot of trauma has not been dealt with. How does this play a part in Corey? For all I remember, Corey's biggest downfall was that he wasn't confident and that you guys were just two very different people. So I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood. And somebody in the comments can break it down for me because I just didn't get it. But I felt like, girl, this is uncalled for. You're trying to save yourself. You're trying to save face, and it's not cute. Just accept responsibility and keep it pushing. Now, Mark Wahlberg is the host of hosts. This man is a G.
You know, I don't see Erin as intimidating.
Why don't I believe you? I think that when she gets angry at you, she does intimidate you. And that you just do whatever you can to make her okay with that.
Yeah.
But my fear, knowing both of you, is that when you leave here and get back to the real world, you're going to yell at him and he's going to cower.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I think that she has a very domineering character and needs somebody who's either going to be okay to take the punches, not literally, and or be able to put her in her place as well, also not literally. So somebody who's like very strong-willed, who doesn't, succumb to, the pressure that she puts on the relationship, or maybe her fear tactics don't really like work on him as much. Like, I'm saying it like she's abusive, but she's not. Just somebody who's, more strong-willed, somebody who's got more of a backbone. And he evidently needs somebody who's tender and needs somebody who's soft with him and needs somebody who's like, yes, babe. She's not that. Even the way she speaks is very boisterous, is very, I'm here, you're going to hear me out. I don't know if this is going to work. I really don't know. I think that when they got together, he thought that his lack of self-confidence could be supplemented by her excess, which isn't always the case. You still need somebody who's going to understand you and somebody who's not going to make you feel like I need to conform to something that I am not. Realistically, he is more soft-spoken, even though he has found his voice here, even though he has come out of his shell, he has found his self-confidence. At the root of their personalities, I do see him still being very subdued and her being, pretty dominant. And I just don't know if they will truly mesh. So they both decided to leave the island together.
I would like to leave the island with Corey.
Corey, what would you like to do?
I'm leaving the island with my girl.
No,
I
I love you. We're so corny.
And we're just going to have to take their word for it. I don't know if their growth has led them closer to each other or is eventually going to tear them farther apart from each other. But if they say they can make it work, we're going to have to take their word for it. I don't know if there's going to be a reunion, but if there is, child, I needs me the tea. I need to know if these two are still together. All the best to them, though. I just don't believe it. I just don't see it. I really don't see it, man. All right, moving on to Erica and Kendall. During the goodbyes, Kendall is surprisingly very tender with Alexis. I'm confused.
Every single day I got to see a new part of you. New part that I've grown to love and cherish and appreciate, and I know this isn't goodbye.
It's not that he doesn't have the capability of being tender, of being soft, of being emotional, but he has never shown this side of him in the whole experiment. Like, either he hasn't shown that side or the producers completely cut it out, because I'm like, what is this? During Erica's goodbye, she has become very self-assured and introspective. I love this for her.
When I came here, I had questions, but they all were surrounding my relationship. Like, none of them were never specific towards me as an individual. And I feel like as our dates went on, I had more questions about myself, and you helped me answer those.
I do find it interesting how contrasting their experiences have been. Kendall came in here basically being Hugh Hefner, living his best life, and he didn't really do much self-reflection. He didn't really do much, how can I become a better person? How have I faltered in this relationship? What has been my part to play in the reason why we're here in the first place? He hasn't done any of that. Where Erica has done a lot of self-reflection, a lot of trauma unraveling, a lot of just really getting down to the root of why she is the way she is, why she's accepted the relationship she is in and the ones she's been in before Kendall. And she did forge a connection, but it wasn't off of, let me just be a let me just have a hot girl summer. It was off of, okay, we've made a genuine connection and it just progressed naturally. Whereas Kendall, it seemed very forced. It seemed very, all right, who wants me? You? Cool, come. Oh, you too? Okay, cool, let's do that. And not like a genuine, I feel this bond to you. Now, Kendall's recollection, however, of the experience is very, very different.
I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And I just don't want to make any more excuses, and I just really want to focus on being a better version of me and the right man that can show his emotions and just be free and not be afraid.
All you've done is tell us that you're perfect. All you've done is make excuses and blame Erica for the demise of your relationship. You have not been vulnerable at all. We know, guys, take it in that we don't know anything about Kendall. All we know about Kendall is that Erica is the problem. That's all we know. We don't know anything about his past. We don't know anything about, his traumas, his pitfalls, how he normally is in relationships before. Like, we don't know anything. He just came here to have a good time and left with somebody. Well, we don't know who he's going to leave with, but we can assume that he's going to leave with somebody who's going to let him be a playboy. Like, we don't know anything about him, but he is certain that he's become vulnerable and he's really found his emotional side. If you, boy, oh, yo, I need to chill. Now, Erica emptied the clip, okay? She emptied the clip.
You've made me feel unworthy. You've made me feel like I wasn't worthy of having unconditional love or having somebody treat me the way that I deserve to be treated. You've made me feel insecure. I lost myself for so long and I didn't trust myself, and I'm learning that I do have a gut instinct that I can trust. I am capable of making the right decisions, and I do deserve someone who will love me unconditionally.
Even though she's a very soft-spoken person, she read him for filth. I loved it. And even when she's done, she asked him, okay, so what do you think you have worked on in this experience? And he is like, I've become very, emotionally available. What? How? How? And she asked, okay, you sleeping with all these girls, how do you think you did that?
How do you feel like sleeping with not only one person, but two people helped you open up emotionally?
He had nothing to say because he's lying. He's lying. And he's been caught in a lie, okay? He eventually does say that, child, I almost fell out my bed. He said he laid awake all night, just worried about how Erica would feel and how he would apologize, how he could possibly look her in the eye after everything he said. If you... Oh, I said a bad word. I'm sorry. He's so delusional. He is so delusional. Like, I wish to have this kind of euphoric, utopian, like, perception on life, because the way he's unable to see wrongs within himself, the way that everybody's a problem besides him, the way that I can do anything I want, say I'm sorry, and there will be restitution. I wish that for myself. I really do. So they do leave us on a cliffhanger, but we're pretty sure that they're not leaving together. And if they do leave together, then I'm the one who's delusional. I'm the one who just is confused, because there's no way. There's just no. There's no way. Please. I hope to God. Please, Erica. Oh my gosh, they could. Okay. Child, I'm a hope to God that they're not together, but it is very much a possibility. We've seen it happen before where couples break up on the show, but they get back together in real life. So, whatever. I guess we're just gonna have to wait until next week to see what the final decision is. Of course, until then, as always, like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you next week for another review.